Recovered recording from Psychological Lab Zeta LF12 Herif System. Throughout all alien races in this galaxy, 3 universal psychological traits have been identified: the id, the ego, and the superego thusly. However, never before has an alien race possessed all 3, for most of the galaxy either has only 1 or 2 of these core traits, and I too lack one of these traits, specifically the id. To those uninitiated, the id is the instinctive part of a species' psychology, all their self-interests, their needs and wants. The superego is the social part of a species' psychology, the rights and wrongs, morals and everything social related, and the ego acts as a way to act as a species' id, and also acts as a conscious mind. Now, for examples of various species with different species that lack 1 or 2 of the universal psychological traits. The hive mind of Zargrith. This species originates from a desert planet and lives within the inner rims of the galaxy, living out their lives on their planets, building massive hive cities with multiple queens throughout a singular planet, using pheromones and chemicals to communicate with one another. They lack an ego, thus, the insectoid species as an individual lacks any real intelligence and an idea of the self, and mostly acts out their base instincts. However, because of their superego, they act as one, and form something resembling a gestalt intelligence that can be communicated and relatively reasoned with, allowing their path to the stars almost gracefully, as they acted as one. The Bong. This species originates from a dense jungle planet and exists within the mid-rim of the galaxy, living out their lives in solitary existences, occasionally reproducing asexually, and only helping each other if there is mutual benefit, and easily breaking apart if a better deal appears. The species lack a superego, meaning they lack morality, and are focused on only themselves and their self-interests, a polar opposite to the hive mind discussed earlier, only working together if there is a benefit to it, and easily acting out despicable acts without much care if it benefits them. Their path into space was a self-interest, with individuals travelling into the stars in their own ways. Thus, their ascension was messy to most species with a superego. The Union of Harlan. The species originates not on a planet, but an asteroid belt within the Zictree system, within the mid-rim of the galaxy. They are a silicon-based life form that resides in the asteroids of this region, acting out their lives in almost machine-like fashion, while possessing something akin to a quasi-gestalt consciousness. The species lacks an id, meaning they act not of instinct, rather on the needs of the species, acting almost like a hive mind. However, unlike most hive minds, the species has an ego instead of an id, meaning they possess an idea of the self, and thus they consume, act, feel. However, they survive not of their own self-interest, but for the many, a species designed to be selfless and willing to save their kind, even if it means self-termination. Their ascension into the stars was rapid, only taking a few decades since their discovery of interplanetary rocketry. Now, onto the topic of today's discussion: humans. They are a special case. They are an enigma, situated in a region of space barren of any intelligent life, in the outer rim of the galaxy, far beyond any spacefaring species detection range, only being discovered after they actively sent out ships in search of alien life. Their first contact logs are a mixed bag, to say the least, with the Kalakak mistaking their research vessels for an invasion fleet from the Union of Harlan. However, upon realizing it to be an unknown species, the Kalakak were the first to attempt to contact the humans. Now, at this point, the galaxy was abuzz with said news. A new species was always exciting for them, a new species to befriend, a new species to enslave, so on, so forth. But eventually, once a bridge was built, the humans introduced themselves. A bipedal, 2-armed entity, originating from a continental planet. Although before all else could be asked, one of the top priorities was to answer the question on the researchers' minds: what psychological trait did they lack? They had argued about that topic throughout the entirety of the first contact. Now, of course, requesting a human for research was difficult at first, but eventually they gave us 2 individuals, a female and a male, whatever those were. Anyway, we studied them, ran the tests, and Something came out wrong. Surely this can't be. Something's wrong with the computers, we reasoned. So they ran the tests again, and again, and again, using different equipment, having different researchers, double-checking the coding of the machines, transferring the human test subjects to a different research site, but the results always turned up the same. They didn't lack anything. They possessed both an id, an ego, and a superego. The only species that had all three psychological traits in the entire galaxy had just been found. They were almost hive-mind with their social interconnectedness, and societal structures that we could never dream of. A solitary species with their reliance on others, minimum at best, and their ego granting them consciousness, an idea of the self, and also balancing both the id and the superego. Their ascension into the galactic stage was not messy, nor was it graceful. It had been bound, tied, and gagged like a hurthen in a net. Yet they ascended into the stars. And they were a marvel of science ever since they arose out of their primordial seas. They were Lovecraftian, their thoughts unknowable, unable to tell what they themselves want from what their species needs, unable to tell between their consciousness from the unconscious mind, their social systems, their everything, utterly alien to us as we might be to them, so perfect yet so messy, and there is so much they themselves do not know about themselves. So that's the story of the humans. Now, colleagues, there's a human that will be transferring here to help us with further research into their psychology in about a standard Harlan cycle. I expect all of you, at least the ones who have social skills, to treat our new friend with some respect. After all, the human mind is special.